Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that will make you question everything. Story 1. Stranger grabbed my wheelchair and I lost it. So I'm rolling down the sidewalk in my wheelchair, minding my own business, when suddenly someone just grabs the handles and starts pushing me without saying a word. I'm 28 years old and I use a wheelchair to get around. This particular day, I was pushing myself up a sidewalk that had a slight incline. Nothing I couldn't handle, you know. I've been doing this for a while. But apparently, this random stranger thought I needed help. Before I even knew what was happening, someone walked up behind me, grabbed the handles on my wheelchair, and just started pushing me forward. I immediately started yelling and saying no because honestly, it was terrifying. I couldn't even see who this person was because of how close they were behind me while they were pushing. Think about it from my perspective for a second. Some complete stranger just took control of my mobility device without asking, without warning, without even announcing themselves. I had no idea who they were or where they were trying to take me. So I swung my hand behind me, trying to get them to stop. Finally, they let go of my wheelchair. But instead of apologizing or realizing they'd made a mistake, they started cussing at me. They called me ungrateful and said they were just trying to help. They acted like I was the problem for not wanting their unsolicited assistance. Here's what really gets me about this whole situation. Would you walk up to a random person and just start touching them or their belongings without permission? Would you grab someone's car and start pushing it because you thought they might need help? Of course not. But for some reason, people think it's totally acceptable to do this to wheelchair users. My wheelchair isn't just a medical device. It's an extension of my body. It's my mobility, my independence, my freedom. When someone grabs it without permission, they're essentially grabbing me. They're taking away my control and my autonomy. And then they have the nerve to get mad when I don't appreciate it. I've heard this happens to other wheelchair users too. People just assume we need help, even when we're clearly managing fine on our own. They don't ask if we want assistance. They don't wait for us to request help. They just jump in and take over, and then act offended when we don't thank them for it. The thing is, if I needed help, I would ask for it. I'm perfectly capable of speaking up if I'm struggling with something. Most wheelchair users are. We're not helpless children who need random strangers to swoop in and save us. We're adults who can navigate our own lives, thank you very much. What really bothers me is how this person reacted when I said no. Instead of backing off and apologizing, they got defensive and angry. They made it about them and how they were just trying to be nice. But true kindness involves respecting someone's autonomy and boundaries, not ignoring them. Am I really the bad guy here for wanting control over my own wheelchair? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. My parents want to steal my disability benefits. So my parents just told me I'm autistic, but only because they want to use my disability benefits to buy themselves a house. I'm autistic, level 1, and I qualify for a government housing program that helps people like me get our own homes. Sounds great, right? Well, here's the kicker. My parents never bothered to tell me about my condition until they found out about this benefit and saw it as an opportunity to achieve their own dreams through me. They literally kept my own diagnosis from me until they figured out how to profit from it. Let me paint you the full picture here. They've made it crystal clear that they want the house to be where they want to live, not where I want to live. They're not thinking about what would be best for me, what would help me thrive as an independent adult with autism. No, they're thinking about their dream location and their dream house, funded by benefits that are supposed to help me. The government housing program exists to help people with disabilities gain independence and have a place to call their own. It's designed to give us stability and autonomy. But my parents see it as their personal real estate opportunity. They're treating my autism like it's their lottery ticket. What really gets me is how they kept this information from me. Imagine finding out you have a neurological condition not because your parents wanted you to understand yourself better or get the support you needed, but because they wanted to use your condition for financial gain. That's what happened to me. For years, I probably struggled with things that would have made more sense if I'd known I was autistic. I could have gotten support, learned coping strategies, connected with other autistic people. But instead, my parents just didn't tell me. They kept this huge part of my identity secret until they could figure out how to monetize it. Now my whole family is pressuring me to go along with their plan. They're acting like I'm being selfish for not wanting to hand over benefits that are literally designed for my well-being to fund their housing dreams. They're making me feel guilty for wanting to use a program that's meant for me, for my needs, for my future. I keep thinking about what this means for my independence. If I let them do this, am I ever going to have a chance to truly live on my own? Or am I going to be stuck in a house they chose, in a location they picked, living according to their rules forever? The whole thing feels so manipulative. They controlled information about my own brain, my own condition, and now they want to control the benefits I'm entitled to because of that condition. It's like they see me as a means to an end rather than their child who deserves support and independence. I'm torn between wanting to maintain some kind of relationship with my family and wanting to stand up for myself. But honestly, the more I think about it, the more I realize that letting them take control of this would just be enabling their manipulation. These benefits exist for a reason, and that reason is to help people like me, not to help our families buy houses. What would you do if your parents kept your disability diagnosis secret until they could profit from it? Story 3. I walked in on my roommate pooping 2 days in a row. So I've now walked in on my roommate taking a dump 2 days in a row, and I think I'm about to lose my mind. Let me explain this bizarre situation I'm living in right now. Our house recently had a leak from the room that serves as our bathroom/laundry room. The leak got out onto the carpet, which was obviously a mess. Our landlord came over, ripped up that section of carpet, and put one of those big industrial carpet drying fans underneath it. You know the kind, they're loud and bulky and take up a ton of space. Well, this fan is now blocking the bathroom door from shutting completely. The door just won't close. Yesterday, I walked into the bathroom without thinking about it, and there was my roommate, sitting on the toilet, taking a crap with the door wide open. I was mortified. She seemed mortified. I quickly backed out and didn't say anything because, what do you even say in that situation? I figured it was just an unfortunate accident and we'd both pretend it never happened. But then today, the exact same thing happened again. I walked into the bathroom, and there she was, same position, same wide open door, same awkward eye contact. This time, I couldn't just let it slide. I mean, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, and I'm questioning everything about this living situation. So I snapped at her. I told her she needed to figure out a way to give herself some privacy, or at least put up a sign or something to let people know the bathroom was occupied. I mean, we live in a house with multiple people. You can't just sit on the toilet with the door wide open and act surprised when someone walks in. She got defensive and said it wasn't her fault that the door wouldn't close. Technically, she's right about that. The fan is blocking the door, and that's not something she can control. But here's what I don't understand. There has to be some kind of solution, right? She could push the door as closed as possible, even if it doesn't latch. She could hang a towel or something to block the view. She could call out that the bathroom was occupied when she heard footsteps. She could literally do anything other than just sit there with everything on full display. I suggested that maybe she could use the upstairs bathroom instead, since that door actually closes properly. But apparently, she prefers the downstairs bathroom because it's closer to her room. Well, I prefer not seeing my roommate's bathroom activities, but apparently my preferences don't matter here. The worst part is that she's acting like I'm the unreasonable one for being uncomfortable with this situation. She keeps saying that it's not her fault and that I should knock before entering any room. But it's a shared bathroom in our house. I've never had to knock on our bathroom door before because normal people close the door when they're using the toilet. I'm starting to feel like I'm living in some kind of weird alternate universe where basic bathroom etiquette doesn't apply. I mean, we're adults here. Figure it out. Put a chair in front of the partially open door. Hang a sign. Yell occupied when you hear someone coming. Do literally anything other than just sitting there with the door wide open, acting shocked when someone sees you. Am I crazy for thinking this is a reasonable request, or should I just accept that I now live in a house where privacy doesn't exist? Story 4. My mom showed up at my secret address while I'm pregnant. So I've been hiding my address from my abusive mother, and she just showed up at my door while I'm pregnant. This whole situation is giving me major anxiety, and I don't know if I'm overreacting or if my instincts are right. Let me give you some background. My mother and I have always had a really difficult relationship. I moved out when I was 17 because our home was abusive, and she basically forced me to leave. I moved in with my partner, and we've been building a life together ever since. In July, I found out I was pregnant, which should have been this amazing, happy news. And it was, mostly. But it also complicated things with my family. Throughout my pregnancy, my relationship with my mom has remained rocky. I made a very deliberate decision not to tell her my address because I didn't feel safe with my family knowing where I lived. This wasn't a casual decision. This was me protecting myself and my growing family from people who had hurt me in the past. In November, when I was about 4 months pregnant, something happened that I don't really want to get into the details of, but it involved my mom crossing a major boundary. After that incident, I decided I needed some space from her. I told her I needed time to process what had happened and that I'd reach out when I was ready. Well, apparently she didn't like that plan because a few days ago, she showed up at my house unannounced. Just rang the doorbell like she had every right to be there. I was completely shocked because I had never given her my address. I've been so careful about keeping that information private. When I opened the door and saw her standing there, my heart just dropped. My first question was how the hell she found out where I lived. She admitted that she had asked around and eventually got my address from someone in the family. She didn't seem to understand why this was a problem. In her mind, she's my mother, so she has a right to know where I live and show up whenever she wants. But that's not how I see it at all. I chose not to give her my address for very specific safety reasons. The fact that she went behind my back to get it feels like a huge violation of my boundaries. It feels invasive and manipulative. I told her she needed to leave, and that if she wanted to talk to me, she could call or text like a normal person. I explained that showing up unannounced was not acceptable and that I felt violated that she had tracked down my address without my permission. She got upset and said I was being dramatic. She claimed she just wanted to see how I was doing and check on the baby. But here's the thing, if she really cared about my well-being, she would respect my boundaries. She would understand that I asked for space for a reason. Instead, she decided that her wants were more important than my comfort and safety. Now I'm second-guessing everything. Part of me wonders if I'm being too harsh. She is my mother, and she is going to be a grandmother. Maybe I should be more forgiving. But another part of me feels like this is exactly the kind of boundary-crossing behavior that made me move out in the first place. I'm pregnant and trying to focus on preparing for my baby. I don't need the added stress of worrying about whether my mom is going to show up at my door whenever she feels like it. I've worked hard to create a safe space for myself and my future child, and now that feels compromised. Am I wrong for not trusting her after she tracked down my address and showed up uninvited? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.